Yo, so there's a report going on that Dragon Age will not be having any expansions, no DLC, as BioWare shifts focus to Mass Effect 5. So one of their banger killer apps that was coming out this year, it doesn't look like there's going to be plans for any expansions, which in my opinion is not a good sign this day and age. It seems like almost every single game has some kind of DLC or some kind of expansion of some sort. Now, player base kind of fell short. Didn't even hit 100,000 players in launch week, which we'll talk about that eventually. Could that be a sign? How much millions of dollars did they spend into developing this game for it to just be laughed at, mocked, and ridiculed for cutscenes like that whole misgender lecture that's in there? I don't know. But this can't be a good sign at all. And I wanted to talk about this and read this article because we've been covering this game for quite some time, and every day it seems like somebody's posting something about some kind of wokeness in this game, and I don't think that helps at all. When you think of stuff like how Ubisoft, BioWare, even Capcom nowadays are just buying into this whole modern audience brigade where they're trying to make their games acceptable for the modern audience, it just never works out. And this says that this new report is detailing that BioWare is going to Mass Effect 5, which, let's be honest, that game is probably going to sell a lot more copies than Dragon Age Veilguard is. Are they probably going to go woke with it? More than likely, yeah, but it remains to be seen. Anyways, Rolling Stone reported this. George Yang, who said, Dragon Age Veilguard now complete. BioWare confirms that there are currently no plans for downloadable expansions. The developer's full attention is now shifted entirely to the next Mass Effect as the current project. And then IGN also reported this, that BioWare's not completely abandoning the game following its release, but they are going to be supporting it with quality of life improvements and a handful of smaller content updates. So nothing utterly, like overly, I guess, expansive, nothing really noteworthy, nothing to go home and be like, hell yeah, we're going to get this brand new storyline expansion for the campaign and we're going to have so much fun. No, just quality of life updates to make the game run better. If there's any kind of bugs or glitches or anything of that sort. So smaller content updates, again, meh. Now, going on right here, this article says, given the game will not have any DLC, calls into question EA CEO Andrew Wilson's bravado surrounding the game during a recent earnings call. Wilson, touted that the game had breakout potential. He told investors, it's an amazing time at EA, and in 2 days, we launch Dragon Age Veilguard. It's been 10 years since we launched its predecessor, Game of the Year winner, Dragon Age Inquisition. So they had some big shoes to fill coming in here. Of course, they're going to hype it up. That's just CEO talk, right? You got to be positive. You can't go in saying, hey, our game's going to fail because there's a lot of woke cringe in it. You got to kind of hype it up a little bit. You got to smoke and mirror the hype. Now, he did continue saying early critic scores are strong and reflect the high quality depth and detail and niches action pack adventure. We expect Dragon Age to be a great example of how our blockbuster storytelling engages and connect fans in truly unique ways, which, funny enough, according to some people on Twitter, a lot of the complaints were the storytelling. They said that it wasn't fun, that it was boring. You look at the user reviews. I never take note of critic scores. Don't ever do that, guys. Don't take IGN serious when it comes to reviews. The user reviews, last time I checked, are terrible. They're bad on Metacritic. So I'm going to lean towards that. Now, sure, there might be some review bombing initially, but where the user reviews lie is where I'm going to think that the game lies, because those are real gamers. Those are people that weren't shills for the game. They didn't get access media, stuff like that. Now, continuing on, there was a Q&A portion of the call, and they were asked by Raymond James Financial Group analyst Andrew Merrick, who said, I've seen some very strong reviews so far, but as far as you can tell, what drives that kind of breakout success we've seen in some single-player fantasy games in the last couple of years, and how do you feel that Veilguard might compare along those lines? And Wilson said, I certainly think Veilguard has breakout potential. Now, they all say that. That's like they're smoothing the wrinkles out, you know what I mean? Again, 10 years ago, Dragon Age Inquisition won Game of the Year and was a very strong performer for us in the conduct of our business. This is entertainment, and so while much of our business has moved to live service, moment to moment, deliver innovation and creativity for a deeply engaged community over the course of time. This opportunity to bring in incredibly high quality, creative storytelling, set an amazing world with rich characters living out those stories. You are able to capture that moment in entertainment. Success almost certainly follows. I don't think having less than 100,000 peak your launch week is success. This game is by no means a flop that we know of yet, because we don't know how much the budget was, how much they spent. There was a lot of hype behind it. A lot of people played it. They came out, but they didn't hit 100,000 concurrent players. Now, how many copies were sold? We don't know. We honestly don't know. Apparently, they were also giving this game away if you bought like a computer or something like that. So you got to factor in all that. But I definitely don't think it went as well as BioWare had anticipated. I think it actually underperformed. Similar to what Star Wars Outlaws did. They still sold 1 million copies. But with Ubisoft, they obviously didn't hit the mark. Now they're going to be supporting the game with glitch updates and quality of life updates, stuff like that. So that sounds eerily similar, doesn't it? They also said that there was breakout potential with, Star Wars Outlaws, and they were all behind it and gung ho. And then now that we're here, we got Assassin's Creed Shadows delayed. So yeah, Mass Effect is years away at this point, but we still need to see some data, sales figures, and stuff that comes out with Veilguard. I still think it didn't perform as well, but you could see going on. They said, what we have with Veilguard right now, we have a storied studio in BioWare. We have a storied IP in Dragon Age. We have a team that took extra time to make sure the world was rich and the characters were interesting and the story was compelling. I think we are going into a market that has limited competition for this category of game, given some of the moves that have happened across the broader industry. And so I think it's too early to predict the outcome. The critical reviews have been incredibly strong. The team feels really energized by what they have delivered. And my sense is that, yes, it has breakout capabilities. Well, there was rumors going around that they weren't giving them to outlets that were critical about them, or outlets that they had a shaky feeling about, that they would call out the wokeness and stuff. And there was a whole bunch of like controversy and stuff on Twitter where people were saying that people that identified as non-binary were the ones getting early access. So who knows, right? Who knows what's true, what's not? Again, I've seen it myself when I used to get early access from video game companies. They do have favorites. They do tell you yes and no's of what to say in your reviews. So that's why I would tend to believe the user scores. If they're astroturfing critic scores ahead of time, that's what most companies do. Now, continuing on, he said this article says, while Wilson claimed the game had breakout capabilities, EA's chief financial officer, Stuart Canfield, shared that the company was maintaining our assumptions for our upcoming Dragon Age Veilguard launch this week and our partner title slated to launch in Q4. So, at the end of the day, they're going to go where business goes. Now that, as this article even says it, but in my opinion, if the game really had breakout potential, why would they not be investing in DLC? Why would they not be putting expansions into the game? Why would they not hype it up for at least another year or two, right? And put a lot of growth and support behind it. Now, it seems like it's the opposite. Instead of putting more development into this game, they're going to be moving on to Mass Effect 5. So where's this breakout potential that they're trying to lie to us about? Where's this hype that they're trying to give to us? Honestly, any time that I see them kind of, and this is not just BioWare, but any kind of video game company kind of hype up breakout potential and that things are going right, blah, blah, it's just them covering their tracks so they don't look like idiots. We all know that when and if a game fails or underperforms, it's going to be all the gamers' fault, all the chuds, like they say, because they're catering to a modern audience instead of actually making video games for people. They really don't care about making video games. They want to make sure that they have cutscenes where you get lectured for misgendering somebody. They want to make sure that there's other segments in the game that are just absolute cringe, which there's been a lot popping up. And at this point, I think a lot of people are fed up with it. Anytime that you see characters that look like, just garbage, like this weird non-androgynous, non-binary, like whatever the fucking buzzwords are at the moment, people are tuning out for that. And Dragon Age Veilguard had a lot of red flags, in my opinion. Again, if the scores stay decent and strong when the user reviews fully flesh out, I'll say, okay, that's fair, but it's still not going to invalidate any criticism that I've given or other people have given in the game. So now they're not going to be supporting it any further with expansions or DLC, which I think is a personal mistake. But that's also a sign that I don't think the game did as great as they wanted it to. So what are your thoughts, guys? Let me know in the comment section down below. Love to hear what you guys have to say. Subscribe if you're brand new. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much.